Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm Judge Executive David Vogel. It's a little bit after 2 o'clock here on the 5th day of April, 2016. Appreciate all of you being here today. I'd like to ask everyone who's able to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you have a cell phone with you today, please turn it to off or vibrate.
We can do that.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Leslie.
Here.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Sparks. Here. Magistrate Eldridge.
Here.
Magistrate Dye.
Here.
Magistrate Logsdon. Judge Vogel.
Here. Having 8 members of the Fiscal Court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Now I'd like to ask our clerk to please read the minutes from our meeting on March 15th.
March 15th, 2016. The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2:10 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, Assistant County Attorney Tate Combs, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Bob Leslie, Steve Greenwell, J.D. Sparks, Kevin Eldridge, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to approve the agenda, removing Clark County Auto Auction Agreement. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Dye to approve the minutes of March 1st. Motion carried unanimously. County Clerk Julie Barr presented a check to Fiscal Court for $324,876.64 for 2015 excess fees. J.D. Sparks thanked the volunteers and the community for supporting the Oldham County Republican Presidential Caucus March 5th and announced the upcoming district convention April 2nd and state convention April 23rd. National Weather Service Award, Storm Ready Community. Representatives from the National Weather Service awarded Oldham County with the Storm Ready Community designation for Oldham County emergency management meeting storm preparedness criteria. Animal Control Annual Report Presentation. Animal Control Director Barbara Rosenman gave a presentation to the court regarding Animal Control Department and responded to questions. Payables. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Tice to approve the payables with the exception of the $10,299.78 Vaughn Pettit Legal Group claim. Motion carried unanimously. Surplus. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Sparks to declare surplus the list of county property with intent to sell at public auction. Motion carried unanimously. Community business. Second reading public hearing for the Creekstone Circle Road Assessment Ordinance. County Engineer Beth Stuber presented for second reading proposed ordinance number KOC 16910-104, authorizing the expenditure of county funds to improve Creekstone Circle, Subdivision Road in Borwick Farms 5, LaGrange, to county standards, to bring into the Kentucky road system and impose a special assessment on all abutting property owners. The floor was open to public comment. After being sworn in, Francis Scott of 2708 Creekstone Circle spoke in favor of the proposed ordinance. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to adopt ordinance number KOC 16910-104, authorizing the expenditure of county funds to improve Creekstone Circle, Subdivision Road in Borwick Farms 5, LaGrange, to county standards, to bring into the Kentucky County road system and impose a special assessment on all abutting property owners. Discussion followed and motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to award the Creekstone Circle Road Improvement Project to Flynn Brothers for $39,446. Motion carried unanimously. Committee recommendations, Safety Committee, Oldham County Dispatch Operating Procedures Manual. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to approve the revised Oldham County Dispatch Operating Procedures Manual. Motion carried unanimously. Parks Committee, Wendell Moore Park Softball Complex Plumbing Project. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to remove from the table discussion regarding the bid award for the Wendell Moore Park Plumbing Project. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to award the plumbing work at Wendell Park Softball Complex to New Century Plumbing for $25,275. Motion carried unanimously. Contract agreements and resolutions. State Local Debt Officer Petition. Motion made by Magistrate Tice and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to authorize the Judge Executive to sign Resolution Number 0103-1516 relating to the State Local Debt Officer Petition for the Detention Center Project. Motion carried unanimously. Resolution, Kentucky Emergency Management Hazard Mitigation Grant. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Likens to authorize the Judge Executive to sign Resolution Number 0203-1516 relating to application for and administration of the Kentucky Emergency Management Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. Motion carried unanimously. Credit Card Program Agreement. Motion made by Magistrate Tice and seconded by Magistrate Dye to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the Stockyards Bank Business Credit Card Application and Agreement relating to the credit card program. Motion carried unanimously. Environmental Study Contract, Red Wing. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Logsdon to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the professional services agreement with Red Wing Ecological Services relating to the water wetland study. Motion carried unanimously. Second public comment, none. Other business and announcements. Magistrate Logsdon stated Walmart in Crestwood held its grand opening last weekend. Magistrate Eldridge gave a brief update on the controlled burning issue near Mailback in Cherrywood and thanked Jim Urban for his help in getting the issue resolved. Magistrate Greenwell stated Governor Bevin offered his assistance in mitigating any obstacles on the county level pertaining to economic growth. He wished South Oldham High School boys good luck as they play in the Sweet 16 this Thursday at Rupp Arena. Magistrate Tice announced the Republican caucus held March 5th ran smooth and thanked the organizers and volunteers for their service and participation. Judge Vogel welcomed Oldham Air's new editor, Michaela Ballard. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously, and the meeting was adjourned at 3:32 p.m.
You've heard the reading of our minutes from March 15th. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved. Second.
Are there any corrections or? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. It's time now for public comment. That's our time during this meeting when any resident of the community or someone else, visitor, whatever, can come to before the fiscal court and make a short presentation of up to 4 minutes. Is there anyone here who would like to address the fiscal court at this time? Seeing no one, I'll close public comment and go on to the first item on our agenda today, and that's a bid opening for a special inspector for our new detention center. I'm going to ask County Treasurer Melissa Horn to bring the bid submissions to us, and we'll see what we have here. First bid submission for the special inspector is from Garber Chilton Engineers and Land Surveyors. Bid is $57,540. The second bid is from Greenbaum Associates. Lump sum fee of $35,900. The third bid is from Terracon. I believe this bid is $44,232. Phelan Associates. I believe this bid is $130,000. Bids have multiple pages in it, and I'm trying to find the number, so, but we're going to take a look at it before we award it to make sure that it's exactly the way it should be. The final bid is from Vector Engineers. $197,610. All right. That concludes the bid opening. I'm going to return these to the county treasurer. What we're going to do here now is the county treasurer is going to collate these in order of the dollar amounts, with the lowest first, moving on to the highest. Then she is going to forward these bids to our architect, who is in, not Glasgow, but where am I thinking?
Hopkinsville.
Hopkinsville, who is going to look at them and make sure that the bid specs are consistent and appropriate with the bid request. And if so, then we will attempt to award that bid by the end of this meeting. Next item on our agenda here is the bid opening for road salt. Do you have those,
I do,
Sheila?
yes.
All right. All right, the first bid here is from Cargill, and this bid dumped and delivered is $84.33 a ton. The second bid is from Compass Minerals. This is $1.87, or excuse me, $1.67. Can't be right. No, I forgot my glasses. Apologize. It's no, it's $81.67 per ton. I didn't think that was right. All right. The next one is from Detroit Salt Company. $80.94 per ton. Final bid is from Morton Salt Company. $106.33 per ton. Going to ask our either county engineer or road superintendent who's going to take these bids.
Judge?
Yes, sir.
We decided, We decided in road committee that we're not going to award this today, just take them and enter them into the record, and we're full of salt, and we got a lot of time, so.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda here is for the resurfacing work of Briarwood Road. First bid is from Flynn Brothers, $42,932.25. Second bid is Hall Contracting, $35,909 and a nickel. The third bid is from Louisville Paving, $53,163.54. Mack Construction and Excavating, $41,632.20. The final, next bid is Ohio Valley, $37,716.50. Final bid is from Riverside Paving, $42,678. Let our county engineer, not ready to award this today then, all right? Next item is going to be Mike Simpson, county jailer, that will come forward with his budget presentation. Welcome, Mr. Jailer.
Thank you, Judge, members of court. As most of you have been through this process before, you should have in your packet. What we're doing today is just presenting the 2016-2017 budget. By the statute, we have to do it by April, which obviously we're doing that. So hopefully you do have it in your packet. And as in years past, you can take a look at this, and as you all continue through your budget process before obviously final adoption of the jail budget, and ultimately would be absorbed into the countywide budget. But today we're just presenting. I'll be glad to answer any questions. There are a couple of things I will point out, but I may wait and see if there's any questions from the court, which may lead me to what I was going to share with the court today. But so, Judge, I'll just give a quick moment.
All right, why don't you give us a quick update, and then we'll go to
Okay,
questions.
let's do that. Again, if you have that in your packet, just kind of let you know what history, obviously, one of the requirements is, in which I've done this with our county treasurer, Melissa Horn. We've met with her. We started this process several weeks back, Judge, and have met with, obviously, the Finance Committee briefly. And then most recently, just last week, I had a meeting with Judge and our CFO, Stan Clark, to review some of these particular numbers. The overall budget at the jail hasn't really changed from year in to year out. I will point out one of the things that I'm asking for in this particular budget is trying to get ourselves ready for the new project, the new detention center, which will hopefully come online in sometime maybe October of next year if everything goes well. So one of the things in this particular budget is asking for monies to be allocated to purchase a third vehicle for the jail fleet. We have two vehicles in our fleet right now. We have a Crown Vic, which is a 2011, and we have a 2006 van. So if you look at the particular line item on the expenses side, the other equipment, which is at the very bottom of your first page, you'll see that this year's budget was $10,000 in that particular line item. And I'm asking to up that to $40,000, which is an additional $30,000 to, to look at, if it's approved, to purchase a third vehicle. Trying to get kind of ahead of the learning curve, for next year. Next year's budget is going to be a totally different process, because with the new jail and not knowing, there's going to be a lot of unknowns, but, we're trying to get as many answers as we can, before that happens. And, with that standpoint, the other thing I'll mention to the court judge is I've met with, we've talked briefly with Joe Hamilton. Everybody knows what Joe's role is with the county. He's done some work, looked at some numbers via state contract. And obviously, we'll continue to work with Joe, again, if the money's approved for this upcoming budget. So that's one of the things that I would mention. Other than that, you can kind of look, our line items pretty much have been consistent in my 20-plus years. It hasn't changed. The numbers will change based off of need from the previous years. I will point out to the court, you should have this on your particular report, hopefully you do, that you'll see what our current budget numbers are, what we projected, what we budgeted for, whether it's revenue or expenses, and you should have, this represents 8 months. Now, the 8 months, what I refer, those are true numbers. Those are not budget numbers, those are actual numbers through 8 months. And you should then also see a projected for this current budget cycle. We have been extremely busy this first 8 months of this particular budget cycle. Our head count has been, unfortunately, way up. So we're generating a lot of money on the revenue side. And you can see what those numbers, how that reflects in what we projected for this cycle versus what we're actually through 8 months. And then ultimately through the 12 months. We budgeted for this particular year 1.2, just a little bit over 1.2 million in revenue. Our projected number is a little over 1.5. So, that's approximately 300,000 above what we projected. On the expense side, you can kind of look at the same projections. Our operational budget was estimated at 2.2. We're projected to come in about 2.1 on the expense side. And here's my years of experience and what I've tried to do all my 30-plus years working at the Oldham County Jail is the transfer number is really an important number, because that really tells I think the true story, the amount of money that's Oldham County tax dollars that are actually spent. This budget cycle, we projected transfer from the general fund, 951,332. If the numbers hold true for the next, which is April, May, and June, we're estimated to come in actually transferring about 633,000. So again, that's actual Oldham County tax dollars. That's what it costs to operate our jail. So again, that's approximately about 300,000 from that standpoint. So I'll stop there, Judge, and should there be any questions?
Right. The difference is that the jail has been full, if you will. The outside prisoners that we've been able to accommodate here have generated additional revenue, which is forcing the amount of money the county has to pay to support the jail, forcing that number down. And that's what our long-range plan is, to continue to force that number down as far as we possibly can. So,
Absolutely.
are there any members here of the court? Magistrate Sparks?
Are you going to say anything about that? No. Okay. Well, I'm curious because I'm on the jail committee and we had pretty big issue with the budget, but nothing ever, and it wasn't approved by our committee, and nothing ever came back to correct the issues we had. I'm wondering how you've corrected those, and if you'll continue to explain about the significant pay increases that are above and beyond what we as a court have been happy with in the past.
Well, Master Sparks, one of the things I mentioned to you, I've met with Judge, met with with Stan, our CFO, since that particular meeting that you're making reference to. And it's an ongoing process. We're talking about, I know at that particular meeting that you're referring to, we were talking about purchasing and possibly maybe 2 or 3 options. There was the SUV, the four-wheel drive vehicle, a van, which we talked about at that particular meeting. Since that particular meeting and with other meetings, we're now looking at some other options. The bottom line is appropriating, if it's approved, a certain amount of money to purchase a vehicle. Whether it's what we discussed at that particular meeting was an Explorer, an Expedition. We looked at all those options, which I had Joe Hamilton go through and present those state contract numbers. That was the beginning of this. This is an ongoing process. This is not for adoption, and that's on the vehicle.
We didn't discuss those vehicles. You said you wanted those vehicles. We almost, I don't know, I don't want to say everybody, but we categorically rejected the listing that you just mentioned.
Right.
We want you to buy a van, which you can use for multiple people, and it'll be very efficient. You're the one that keeps mentioning Explorer and these other things that we soundly rejected.
Well, again, that was what we discussed at the meeting, but since that point in time, that's what I'm telling you today, is that we've had those discussions. I had another discussion with Judge today, looking at a potential van. So this is an ongoing process. What my job is to make sure that I present to the court what I feel, things that we need to function in a very efficient and safe manner. Looking at all those options in the beginning, yes, we did talk about that. That does not mean that we're going to paint ourselves into a corner and say the only option is this particular vehicle. My goal is to be able to add another vehicle to the fleet. Ultimately, if it's the van, that's what we'll end up being. But again, this is an ongoing process.
How about the significant increases in
It's
salaries?
the same thing there. Again, it's my job to come and present to the court what I believe as we progressively move forward toward our new project. I've had additional meetings since the meeting that we had, and we're looking at some options there. Again, it's an ongoing process. We're talking now potentially maybe a stair-step level, implementing a lower rate of a starting salary, raising our starting salary in hopes of being able to hire good qualified people for the new facility, and then obviously retain them. So it's a 2-part goal that we're trying to do this. Again, we're looking at a different option, doing a stair-step process.
So you want to continue to do exactly what I said we shouldn't do, was a race to the top in salaries by jacking everybody's salaries up, whether it's slowly stair-stepping like you say or whatever, but you want to rapidly increase them way past the percentages, the 2 or 3% that the court has continually supported in pay raises for county employees. Even though all of our taxpayers out in the community, they're not getting 2 and 3% pay raises every year, but our employees are, and yet yours, what percentage was it that you wanted to increase most of their salaries by?
Well, again, where we end up at versus what we presented on that first meeting, Master Sparks, is again, as I said, it's an ongoing process.
What is the percentage that you want to increase
I
their
don't
pay
have the
rise?
percentage. I had a number, but
It was over 7%, right? I find that amazingly convenient that you forget that number now when you've got a memory that can recall numbers from 20, 30 years.
right. Well, let's stay with that. And if you want to look at what we're presenting here today, Master Sparks, if you'll look at the projected numbers, what we estimated for transfer, our current budget this year was $951,000. Even with whatever changes that this court may or may not approve, we're actually asking the projected transfer number to be $871,000. That's
The transfer
approximate.
number has nothing to do with how much you're increasing these salaries by. Your projected transfer number from previous year's budget, if it's completely different from what you projected last year, that means your projections failed. It doesn't mean that, somehow you saved us all this money. In fact, your salary is different because you have a different number of employees, right? So you can increase all of their salaries by significantly higher percentages, yet still brag that you're not spending any more because you have fewer employees.
Well, I would use a different choice of words as far as
You're-
bragging.
Well, that's cheating, all right? When you try and come to us and
Mr.
say,
Sparks, I take offense when you sit up here and you try to grandstand.
Let me
and you-
finish.
I apologize. Go ahead.
All right, let's.
Go ahead.
maintain-
it's cheating when you come to us and present something and try and make it appear to be one thing when it's another. It might not be illegal, but it just isn't right. I'm finished.
Measures die.
I'd like to bring a little clarity to this conversation. I'm the chairman of the jail committee, and Jailer Simpson came to the committee, our committee of three, myself, Magistrate Sparks, and Magistrate Greenwell, and he submitted pretty much what you all see today. We had I would say, somewhat a heated discussion covering some of the points that have just been rehashed. The jailer has the option to come and present his budget. That doesn't mean this is a budget that's going to pass. Everyone knew that at that time and knows that yet today. It's just a presentation. Jailer Simpson was not, at that time, Mike, you can correct me anytime you like, he was not prepared to change his presentation at that time. Since that time, he has met with the Finance Committee, of which I'm also a member, and the accounting staff and the judge, and all these are my words, not Jailer Simpson's. I think he has softened his approach. But to Magistrate Sparks' comments, I don't think there's any overt dishonesty here. It's, I think Jailer Simpson's looking to find a way to make the new project a successful project and lower the transfer, which is an important number. The transfer number would, Mike, I'm going to ask you to answer the question. If you paid your people less, your transfer number would be less, correct?
Absolutely. I
So
mean,
one
it
is,
goes right into the expense
so
side.
one is directly proportionate to the other, not dollar for dollar. So with all of that being said, he's come here today to present this. This is not what's going to be accepted. I think we've all agreed upon that at this juncture, but there's a lot of other things in the works, some other ideas that have surfaced since our meeting, which we probably pushed that quicker in the process than may have happened. So all in all, they're not taking sides here, because the only person that wins here is the taxpayers. It's important that this process be completed. We'll have plenty of time down the road, not Jailer Simpson or anyone else, to look at these numbers and pick them apart and express our views. So we really don't need to spend, I'm not trying to short circuit the conversation, but he has every right to submit this. I'm allowing him to do that. I wasn't going to respond, but I felt like I needed to. And you've submitted, and so there you go.
And, Judge,
Magistrate Sparks.
and I would like to clarify, when I say the word cheating, I said very specifically, I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. I should rephrase it from cheating to, I want to say deceptive, but I don't want to. I just think it's wrong to present it in a way that appears different than what it really is. All right, I don't want to use too harsh a word, but I just want to present. That's what I want to try and convey.
Well, I can assure you, Magistrate Sparks, and this court, and Judge yourself, I've been doing this for 30 years. There is no hidden agenda. There's no behind-the-scenes going on. There's no deceptive issues. I've met my obligation, as Magistrate Dye has said. I'm here, I'm presenting. My job is to advise the court what I believe that I need to operate our facility and the monies that need to be there. That is it. There's nothing else there. Your job is to review it. You can vote this up or vote it down at your discretion. But again, my job, I've met my obligation here today.
Can I ask you one more question?
It's up to the judge.
All right.
when we were originally proposing a new jail, and we were taking all the costs into account, the additional expenses, the logistics of the whole thing, did you come to us and say, you know, I want to have a new jail, but all my employees, I'm going to have to drastically increase their salaries to keep them at this new jail? Or is that something that just all of a sudden is a new, you know, invention into this project? Because I can recall that the line of argument was, A, we won't hardly need any new employees, and B, will end up costing less in the long run.
Jay, first of all, the question probably today is probably not the best time to go back into that, but I'll answer it in this way. This process that we're here today, we started this thing 5 years ago. There has been a lot of discussion, a lot of different things, but the number one thing that brought us to here today was not the fact that we ended up voting to build a new facility. Was we had, if you recall, we had several options on the table. We hired an expert to come and do a site-based analysis, giving us the options. We had many, many problems with our current jail. So it wasn't just the fact that we ended up deciding, and it wasn't Mike Simpson coming to this court and saying, I want a new jail. What I brought to the court was the facts being we had many, many issues with our current facility, working through the Department of Corrections, and we evaluated this, and this is the quick 60-second, because again, this is 5 years ago when we started this process. So there was a lot more there to that over the last 5 years than to answer a specific question how we got to this point. So
Just remember, I was one of the ones that truly supported this. I just don't want to let the taxpayers down, you know?
Okay, let's, is there anyone else here who would like to say anything about this?
Let me, if I can, just briefly, because I'm the chairman of the Finance Committee, and we've met with Mike one time, and we'll continue to meet with him a couple more times, because we haven't agreed within our committee 100% on the budget or his budget as presented. Mike's one concern, which I'll go back to you, JD, and try to answer that a little bit, is that the base pay that it takes to get a good employee starting pay, it seems to be, in Mike's opinion, and maybe in other opinions, because we've talked to other departments as well, the floor needs to be moved up a little bit. We're trying to evaluate that. Stan's working with Mike right now and talking about those numbers. I don't know in what degree, but I know they're having conversations on it. So we're looking at that, and that somewhat answers discussion yours, but not all the way through is there pay increases everywhere. But there seems to be a level that we have to be aware of, that in order to get good quality people to start with you, what does it take to get those? And it may or may not be where we are right now, and that's what we're trying to find the answer to. And that's where you all in your committee somewhat, I think, reached a deadlock or complications, if I can say that.
Well, Wayne, the problem was, one of the issues that was presented in the committee was, there are people from other departments applying to our department all the time that want to come here from KSR. And so if they're desperately trying to apply to move from there to here, then it's hard to say economically our pay must be subpar, or people wouldn't be applying here. We'd be out searching for people.
Well, if indeed that's true, and I had not heard that before, then that's got some merit to it. But I hadn't heard that.
Let me just add to this. Since the jail committee met with Mike, I have met with him along with Mr. Clark, and we have talked about several things to try to mitigate some of the issues that came up in the jail committee and are shared to some extent by the finance committee. I think Mr. Simpson agreed that we would seek a van as a replacement vehicle, and he and I have talked subsequently about that a little bit. Haven't gotten a long way down the line, but I agree with you that multiple carrier option is probably good. We've also looked at the salary structure and are trying to work with our finance department to develop a structure, as Magistrate Tice said, that is fair to both the community and the employee. We're not able to pay an exorbitant rate, although I've heard a couple of words tossed around here today. A drastic increase comes to mind, and letting people down. And these are subjective points of view that are hard to communicate in a meeting like this or over a television broadcast. People sometimes can get the wrong idea. I think it is fair to say that the salaries in our jail range from high 20s to low 40s. On the average, people are in the middle. Jail people are required to work overtime to achieve those salaries. We're not, I think Mr. Simpson has asked for a dollar and a half an hour raise for some employees. In some minds, that may be drastic. Other people may think it's small. But we're talking about people, and we want good people in our jail. We're not trying to attract people that are desperate for employment, that will take anything until they can get something better. We want people who will come and stay, will learn the job, because it is a job that needs to be learned. It's not, it's a job that involves a lot of thought process. These people are managing people that have had difficulty conforming in society. These people can easily misbehave if a mistake is made. So we want good quality people, and we have good quality people in our jail. The average salary at the jail is easily $50,000 less than the average per capita income in Oldham County. So people have to live here, have to work here, and function. So let's be honest, we're trying to find a circumstance that fits as many objectives as we can, and to be fair to the community, to be fair to the employees, and to have good staff in our jail. So we're trying to work that through, and I think we're headed in that direction. This is not a final budget. It's a proposed budget. I believe that to answer a question that you had, why is this the same one that came to the jail committee? It's because magistrate, I'm not magistrate, but Jailer Simpson feels very strongly that the committee of the whole, that's all of us sitting here, should have an opportunity to have input here, and that if everybody agrees the salaries are too high or aren't going in the right direction, that'll be our decision as a committee of the whole. Sometimes we try to parcel things out to committees, and most of us support each other on our committee decisions, but the jailer feels his position is imperative, he's strong. I recognize him for having, let's say, maximized the potential of the jail by our revenue stream is up. It's up not by accident, but because of his hard work in attracting other opportunities into our jail. Our transfer number is down. That's a very important number. That's the amount of dollars that come out of the general fund to pay for the jail beyond what the jail can generate for itself. So we want that number down. That's why we're building a new facility to drive that number as close to zero as we can get it for the people of this community. And, but we won't get it by shortchanging our staff. Or some places say, you know, their company, you know, I can't think of a certain company phrase I want right now, but we know that company, and we know that people turn over there like, you know, pancakes. So we need consistency here, and we need people that will come and stay, and they're not just trying to survive for another 6 months or something like that till they can get something better. So where the nexus is of that is still for us all as a group to determine with the help of the jailer, our finance committee, and so appreciate everybody's point of view here. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add? Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, Judge, I have one thing to say. I appreciate the work you do, Mike.
Thank you, Commissioner Leslie. Thank you very much. It's really, and I should have brought all my staff here because they're the ones that really do the work. I give them full credit, believe me. Thank you all.
Under county administration here, we have, the next item is to have me, Stan, you want to go through this, or your name's here, but I can take it if, I'll take it here. We need some, a temporary utility connection down at the detention center project. LG&E can do that. They want us to sign, want me to sign this contract and give them a check for $8,770 to get us electrified there.
Judge, I make a motion, go ahead. I make a motion that we allow you to sign the agreement with LG&E for these temporary utilities. Hope we'll get a second.
Second?
This is just a temporary one, correct?
Yes, sir. This is not the permanent one.
Okay, yes.
This is not one of those poles that you put out there like you're building a house and
Well, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah,
it
it
is.
really is. But it's got a big transformer on it.
It's just that 330 people are going to live in this house.
Yeah.
So it's a bigger house. So we need to do this. We're still working on a permanent connection. Magistrate Eldridge.
Just as a point of order, Judge, does there need to be something in the motion to reflect the possibility of this rock removal charge? In other words, we've got the 8770, but there's also a caveat there, if they get into rock removal, that it's an additional charge.
The motion was to sign the agreement, so
Okay.
that would
Then that should
include.
be fine. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, now we have, the next thing here is the bills to be paid. 7 or 8 pages of bills, and when there are any questions about them, we can bring those up. Otherwise, we'll accept a motion to pay.
Judge, I move we pay the payables.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anybody like a little more time or anything? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved, thank you. All right, that we have next here, we have a surplus property, Melissa Horn.
I'm asking to surplus two vehicles. One is a 2009 Ford Crown Victoria from the police department. It was used as a training car and is no longer needed. The second one is a 2005 Dodge Durango, also from the police department. Repairs required to that exceed the current value of the vehicle.
Can we just go through all these items at once?
Right, I mean, we have all these items for
You want me to keep going?
pardon?
Do you want me to keep
Yeah,
going?
let's just do them all at once here.
Okay. I have two bicycles to surplus. They were forfeited to the Oldham County Police Department. I have a Cub Cadet tank zero-turn mower from the road department, an X-Mark walk-behind mower from the road department, a 550-watt generator, diesel generator from the road department, and a 16-foot tandem axle equipment trailer from the road department.
All right, is there a motion that we surplus these items?
so moved.
Second.
Any discussion about these?
Are we gonna?
We don't guarantee anything here works.
Are we gonna have another one of those auctions on site, or are we gonna send it out to a third party to dispose of?
Yes, we're having an auction on a week from this coming Saturday. It'll be the April 16th at 9 a.m. at the old Oldham County Road Garage, which is across from the Oldham County High School football field.
What time did you say that was?
9 a.m.,
Thank you.
correct?
I think it's at 10.
10, I think.
Sorry.
I believe
That's
it's
what
at
I
10.
remembered, yeah.
That's our next item of business, isn't it?
Yes.
10 o'clock? All right. The auction starts at 10, but gates will open sometime earlier to inspect
Yes.
these items.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
do you have any, this trailer looks pretty good in this picture. Do you have any specific information why that's been surplus?
I actually don't.
I do.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. This trailer is set up with electric brakes, and all of our trailers now have, and trucks are set up for air brakes. And so it doesn't have that much use on it, and it should bring a pretty good price, I would think, but it's not set up for the way our trucks are set up now.
That's the answer I was looking for.
All right. Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next here is the auction agreement. Melissa?
This is an agreement with Timberlake Auction Services to conduct the surplus auction that Judge just mentioned on Saturday, April 16th, at the Old Road Department on Highway 393. It's for a 10% commission.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Judge, I'll make a motion to allow you to sign the contract between Fiscal Court and Timberlake Auction Service for that date.
Second?
Discussion? Yes, sir.
Is this going to be just what we just surplus, or is other departments going to put other items in there, or do you know?
I think we've accumulated everything we're going to sell, haven't we?
It's these items and the 7 cars that we surplused in the last court.
So there's not going to be any knickknacks type stuff out of the other departments? Okay, thank you.
Magistrate Sparks.
I thought those items we were sending to a third party to.
No, sir. They were surplus for a future auction.
There was a discussion about, trying another approach. Our fiduciary responsibility is to try to maximize the value that we get from surplus items. And, we've looked at a couple of items, and we're not critical of any way that's been done in the past, but we're just continuing to try new ways. And we also feel that we have an obligation to let other people in the community participate in providing county services as well. So that kind of explains that, I believe. At least I hope it does. All right. Are there any other questions on that? All right, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. The next thing here is a resolution purchase order authorization, okay? And what this is normally I sign everything here, but the purchase orders for the jail are going to be coming fast and furious. And I would like to delegate this responsibility for the jail detention center only to Melissa and Stan, because they're here, one of them's here every day. I'm not always here every day. We need to be able to respond quickly to this, and given the breadth of things I'm already thinking about, I believe having somebody, 1 or 2 people designated to watch this particular, watch these items would be the most expeditious way to handle it. Magistrate Sparks.
So it sounds like a good idea, but are these items then going to come to fiscal court to be voted on in the regular expenses, or are you going to have that separated out? They're already pre-approved?
Yeah, they're going to come up here. Right.
Okay.
Judge, I'd like to make that motion that we allow you to sign Resolution 030405-16.
Second.
All right. Magistrate Likens?
And I would like to say that we are purchasing the materials for the new detention center so that we save the sales tax
Yes, sir.
portion on all the materials used on that project.
Right. With the other things that were on the payables, either myself or different department heads have authorized those. They've shown up here for ratification and payment. The process will be the same. It's just that in this particular item, with the detention center, these items will be coming to them to authorize the purchase of.
Yes, sir.
And we'll still be confirming it here. I see a question on your face there, Magistrate.
I've got a question. I might as well ask it. Seeing how we've already approved the expenditure for the jail, is it necessary that the ongoing bills as they come in and are presented to Stan and Melissa, that we know every one of those, or shouldn't that authority just be transferred over to you guys and take care of it for us? I understand the other reason, but
We're getting a little confused here. We have approved the jail, and we know there's going to be approximately $4 million and something of materials. We have already approved a standard purchase order that we are entering agreement. It's actually several pages with each of the potential suppliers. But you've already authorized the judge to sign all of these purchase orders. And that's just to get the goods coming. What we've discovered when the first couple batches came, he had obligations in Frankfurt and other places, and timing is everything when you're building. And so, so to keep a smooth process, myself, the CFO, and the treasurer will have those authorities to review that purchase order, make sure it's a standard purchase order, and go ahead and sign it to obligate fiscal court to the purchase, okay? Because it's already approved. And then we'll eventually track that purchase order to the actual invoice when it comes in. And anything we pay on purchase orders is deducted from what we eventually will pay to the general contractor here. So, and the general contractor has reviewed all of these and, basically approved of them ahead of time. And these are the materials we need to build the jail. The first one that came in was for masonry, which they're pouring out there today, so.
And when it shows up in our payables and we say yes, then you can write the check to them and send it out.
Right, we will write the check at that time. But so this is just to help to get the purchase orders back to the suppliers promptly. Because by the time, we're doing this in 3 parts, so by the time we sign it in 3 parts, send one back to the supplier, one back to the GC, and keep a copy for ourselves. There's a few days in here, and we're just trying to, one, respond the day we receive the PO, we review it and get it right back out of here. So, all right.
Are you okay?
Question answered, or?
it's fine, and I understand everything Stan said. It's just I'm a little surprised that we're going to be reviewing every bill that comes in for the jail when we've already, and if we need to, that's
Oh,
fine.
we're not, fiscal court's not, but the lump sum bill to XYZ company may have, 27 purchases in that one thing. We're not going to be looking at it line item by line item, but we're going to have to approve the check cut to that company. But somebody has to approve the purchase to begin with.
Yeah, concrete's a good one. We approved $100,000 towards concrete materials and stuff, and we'll get invoices as the pours come in. The foreman on the job will verify the tar weights and bills and approve all those for payments, and we'll pay it. Internally, we will not exceed that PO. Okay, we will control and we will track all, and it could be 150 invoices that will go against that purchase order for concrete being poured out there, but we will not exceed the total. But that's what we're doing in tracking. So, and if it's less, then that's great.
We're going to see all 150 of those invoices.
You're going to see the invoices. Yeah, you're going to see on this job $4 million and something of invoices, some large, some small. So, but it'll be part of the jail project that's already approved. It's part of the $20,440,000 that's been approved. and we will make sure, we will controlling that, make sure it will not exceed. So,
And I know you will. I've got no question about that at all.
all right.
I don't think all these invoices are gonna wind up in the payables. We don't see the invoices for other things that are on the payables. Why would we see these invoices?
I guess, do we,
Okay,
I mean,
so-
yeah, pick one out of there, you know, I didn't see the invoice
Yeah, he
Or
said
do
we're
that.
not gonna see
for
him.
the
He's-
car we bought. I just saw the
we're-
payable.
We're just gonna.
You will see on the payables report, the listing of the vendor and the amount of the invoices for that particular period of time.
Right.
okay.
And those for the jail will be separated out from our normal
Be nice.
operation.
I wasn't intending to do that.
We'll talk
A lot
later.
extra
I
work.
mean, we can think about that.
We don't want to show up here with 300 pieces of paper that are going to be,
I understand.
It's not gonna be, but it's like, it's part of your vendor list, and it'll say,
Yeah.
gel concrete, and whatnot. And so the fiscal court will be aware of all funds being expended on the gel during that month. And we intend to do it once a month. The first meeting of the month will be when we're paying them, because we'll approve them on the last of the month
Yep,
in our
hopefully.
meetings.
It's just a general accounting tactic to make sure that we don't get a bunch of POs that you haven't previously approved in and start writing checks that haven't been verified. It's a checks and balances for you guys, for your accounting. That's why you have to sign every PO that goes out, right?
Well, purchase orders are for the vendor that we're buying from. It's their authorization, it's our promise that we're going to pay for the goods we're receiving.
Yeah,
So the purchase order is really for the vendor.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to
And
say.
it protects both of us. There's contractual obligations on both sides that they will deliver what we've ordered in good conditions and that, the whole thing. And it's a contract because with the dollars involved, we need to state ahead of time what goods are being bought and what the conditions are. So, okay.
all right, we've had a motion that's been moved and seconded that I allow them,
Did we have a first and second, or did we just go into
that's the
discussion?
first, second motion that
Made the motion.
be allowed to delegate the responsibility for signing purchase orders here to the CFO and treasurer. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Now we'll go on to the transportation of public school students here. And, am I right on that? That's correct. Right one here?
Private schools, isn't it?
Melissa?
It's time once again for us to apply for a pass-through grant to reimburse the transportation costs for non-public school students. In the past couple of years, we've seen the amount given to Oldham County increase. Last year it was $33,000 that we were able to pass back to the bus companies that transport these students.
Judge,
Yes, sir. Measure Greenwell.
I'll make a motion that or do you have to sign a contract, or is this, we just have to pass a resolution?
This resolution.
That we pass resolution number 02040516.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we pass Resolution 02040516, a resolution facilitating payment of expenses by the Commonwealth of Kentucky for transportation of parochial school students. Mr. Carter, would you think that I should read the resolution, or may I dismiss with it?
You may just summarize.
Summarize it. It says, this is for reimbursement for transportation of parochial school students. The administration of the local schools have contracted with Miller Transportation, and the parents of these students will make the initial payment for transportation. Commonwealth of Kentucky, to the extent that it's able, may from its designated funds reimburse the parents of these students for transportation expenses, and the fiscal court is a conduit for the reimbursement. And this benefit provides for the safety of these elementary school students and complies with the Kentucky compulsory education law through attendance at a parochial school. And therefore be it resolved by the fiscal court that we agree to be the conduit for payment by the state reimbursing transportation costs for parochial school students. So I believe that's, it becomes effective as soon as I sign it. We've had a motion, didn't we, in a second?
Yes.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. We lose a magistrate here? I'll hopefully be back, all right. Next item here is, this is we're talking about sidewalks over here on 1793, and Belinda Demas is going to help us with that. Nice to see you, Belinda.
Thank you. This is a supplemental agreement with KYTC for the Kentucky 1793 sidewalk project between Ridgeview Drive and Ridgetop Drive along 1793, authorizing $9,000 in federal funds for a right-of-way phase. We are asking fiscal court to authorize Judge Vogel's signature on this agreement with the Transportation Cabinet.
I'd like to make that motion, Judge.
There's,
Second.
is there,
I'll second
we're
it.
going to die for a second motion?
I second
Oh, you
it.
said it?
I'll
I'm sorry.
second it.
Magistrate Leslie did. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. All right, moved and seconded. Discussion. Magistrate Sparks?
I'm looking at your map, and the red line is where they're going to put a sidewalk?
Well, that's not the exact path of the
Okay.
sidewalk, but yeah,
Is-
those are
is-
the limits
Is
of it.
there's a road along that same path too, right?
Well, that's actually a driveway, that 1790, well, I should put it down here. This is 1793.
Yeah.
There's a shared driveway that comes off of Ridgeview that leads up to those two houses.
Yeah. It's just, it seems like it's odd that it's almost out of the way, like it wouldn't be used
Well,
except by those people.
When this project, well, the neighborhood association is actually paying the match on this project. And when it initially started, it was going to go all the way up to Settlers Point Trail was the idea. We don't have enough funding to do that. And the idea is to keep moving it forward to eventually hook up with the North Oldham school campus, where we did the Safe Routes to School project.
The only reason I'm wondering is, I thought the intention of this program was to put sidewalks where there was danger of the kids being injured if they were walking on the street to get different places. And I can name you a dozen roads in my district alone that desperately need sidewalks. But these sidewalks are going in places where nobody's really traveling or there's no traffic.
Well, the neighborhood has worked hard to raise the funds to match this. They did ask for it. Again, the idea is to move it all the way up to the school campus so that it would indeed provide a safe path for, there's a lot of kids in that neighborhood and the other two neighborhoods moving up the street to get them to school safely. And this project started a long time ago. So the idea is safety. 1793 is not a great street for kids to be walking on. A lot of traffic, so.
But how do they get to 1793 from that sidewalk? You said 1793, right?
Yeah, it's Kentucky 1793 is what these houses front. That's 1793 right there.
Okay, so there is a main road right
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, if you get into needing more locations that need sidewalks, I can give you a couple of streets, like Reamers Road from in Pewee Valley and Crest, separation right there. People are walking on a road that barely can fit 2 cars on it, and it's very dangerous.
Yeah. We do have some sidewalk funds typically available if we can secure matching funds. It's, but we can talk about that
Do you
sometime.
think the people in those areas would be willing to provide the match?
Well, it's a much more economically challenged area. It truly is. Part of that neighborhood right there is historically African-American neighborhood with African-American church there that is very challenged in their funding. But I'd love to try and find a way to get money raised for them because that is truly a desperate street right there. I've seen people walking down it, walking up to work at the Kroger's and the stuff in the middle of that road, and it's crazy, so. I'll try, Judge.
Okay. All right, thank you. I assume you meant Kroger at Anchorage.
Yes.
Didn't know where Kroger
Absolutely.
was. All right, are there any other questions or comments about this? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next item, Belinda.
This is also a supplemental agreement with KYTC, extending our CMAQ funds, congestion mitigation and air quality funds for the Park and Ride project. It'll extend the contract through June 30th, 2017. It does not change any other terms of the original agreement, and we are asking fiscal court to authorize Judge Vogel to sign it.
Judge, I'll make that motion to ask that you sign this agreement.
Second.
They moved and seconded, I'd be allowed to sign the this agreement to extend the CMAQ fund authorization for another 12 months through June 30th, 2017. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Judge, I have one comment.
Okay.
Belinda, would you like to give us an update on potential construction? Since me and Belinda talked yesterday, and
We did.
she said when she started on this that she didn't have any gray hair.
I've got a few now, just a couple.
It's been a while.
One or
so-
two.
So how close are we now?
We are actually, believe it or not, moving forward. We believe we will bid it late summer, early fall for construction. They'll be able to start some of the construction operations over the winter and then build it next construction season,
Finally.
finally.
When we started the Safe Routes to School thing, I couldn't vote. Not really, but
But
seems
it's
like
done.
that.
That one's at least done. So that's good.
Well, there's always Curry Fork.
Right?
Thank you.
Thank you, okay, thank you. Next item on today's agenda has to do with our recreational trails program and a composting station at the Oldham County Conservation Park. So
Yes.
Becky Zockline,
A year ago, I approached you asking for permission to submit a grant application for recreational trails program, which is federal funds, to install utilities out at Conservation Park and to construct a composting pit comfort station. And we were awarded that grant in the amount of $72,000, and I'm asking for a motion to allow the judge to execute that contract and enter into agreement with the Department of Local Government.
So moved.
Second.
I moved and seconded that I be allowed to sign this contract with Department of Local Government for a composting station grant to provide electricity and water services for the construction of this composting comfort station, so at Morgan Conservation Park.
Right.
Edgewood Sparks.
Is that the total amount you need for the whole project?
No, it's a 50/50 match, and we're matching with force accounts. We did not get the full amount that we requested, so part of the project expenses have been budgeted by Mr. Curtis.
Okay, thank you.
Magistrate Tice.
By Mr. Who?
Curtis? Tim Curtis? This is a parks project?
Oh. Are we, in other words, 72,000 is coming out of our parks? Is the county paying 72,000? Whether it's out of the parks or whatever department?
In both, in kind and there is a portion of it is cash match.
You know how much that is?
Not off the top of my head. I don't have that.
It's here.
Parks Committee, no?
Well, it says labor, utilities, miscellaneous is 38,000.
I think this is in Tim Curtis's budget.
Yes, it is in Tim's budget,
Right, it's been in the budget, we don't know exactly what it
yeah.
is right off the top of the head, but at least it's 70. It may not, this money, when you say recreational trails, I believe when I became county judge, one of the first things I did was get a $40-some thousand grant, a big check they gave me over at the governor's office in Frankfurt. I think it took about 4 years to actually get the money. So this may not happen anytime soon, but
I think that the difference between the amount that we requested and the amount that we got is about 13,000.
13,000.
It's about a $13,000 cash outlay.
We talked about this at as a court or as a Parks Committee at all? And if we have and I forgot, I'm okay.
She said she came to us a couple of years ago to request it,
Last year.
last year.
I believe it is in the Parks budget that we approved in Parks Committee, correct?
We did.
all right, are there any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Now we're going to have an opportunity to recognize our telecommunications and 911 service here with Kevin Nuss, Director of our Oldham County Dispatch and Emergency Management.
Good afternoon. In 1991, Congress proclaimed the second week of April each year to be dedicated to the men and women who serve as public safety telecommunicators. Since then, public safety agencies nationwide recognize the pivotal role played by telecommunicators to provide an invaluable support to police, fire, and EMS functions. Oldham County Central Dispatch, commonly known as OCD, employs highly trained and dedicated 911 telecommunicators who are on duty 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and often miss holidays and other important events with their families and loved ones. Each telecommunicator must complete a 5-week basic telecommunications academy at the Department of Criminal Justice Training in Richmond, Kentucky. They utilize many different computer programs that include 911 phone workstations, computer-aided dispatch, national crime information computers, and a VHF radio system. All OCD personnel are also certified in emergency medical dispatch. OCD dispatches for 4 law enforcement agencies, 8 fire departments, Oldham County EMS, and various other county agencies like Animal Control, Road Department, Oldham County Water on an emergency basis, and agencies like that. Last year, OCD handled well over 100,000 telephone calls, approximately 20,000 of which were 911 calls. Telecommunicators are the critical link between an individual in need and emergency responders. They are first responders in every emergency situation and determine what kind of aid is needed and send the appropriate assistance. Their role includes taking and triaging emergency and non-emergency phone calls, prioritizing emergencies, coordinating resources, and providing support to the emergency responders in the field. They also ask questions about the situation and determine risk factors that responding emergency personnel might face when they arrive on scene. In addition, telecommunicators can provide emergency medical instructions that include how to perform CPR, render first aid, or even deliver a baby if needed. It is with these reasons in mind that I would respectfully ask the Oldham County Fiscal Court to pass this resolution declaring April 10th through 16th, 2016 as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in Oldham County. Thank you.
Now, I'm going to read this resolution here now, and appreciate Kevin bringing this to our attention. I believe our 911 service would be considered certainly one of the most outstanding in the state, particularly for any county our size. But I think we rank right up there with everybody who's at the top. I think we set the standard, and we're an excellent group. So I appreciate everything you have done. So, whereas emergencies can occur at any time and prompt the response of police, fire, and EMS personnel, critical to the protection of life and preservation of property, and whereas the safety of our police, fire, and EMS personnel is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who call Oldham County Central Dispatch, And whereas professional public safety telecommunicators are the first critical contact our citizens have with emergency services, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the vital link for our police, fire, and EMS personnel by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them with information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas the public safety telecommunicators of Oldham County Central Dispatch have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas Oldham County Public Safety telecommunicators have exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Fiscal Court of Oldham County, Kentucky, the following: the week of April 10th through the 16th, 2016, is designated as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in Oldham County in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our county and our citizens safe. So I'd ask permission to sign this resolution.
Make that motion, Judge.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. As Jailer Simpson said before he left, I wish I could have my staff here because they're the ones that truly do the work. Thank you very much.
And thank you, and for the, I believe that our video department here is putting together a video that will run on Channel 25 next week, all week, and also on our website, detailing the services of our 911. So, thank you.
Thank you all.
Next item on the agenda here has to do with Finance Committee, Magistrate Tice.
Yes, as mandated every year and presented to us from the Department of Local Government, there's a CPI index that the fiscal court needs to address and vote whether, as magistrate, we accept an increase or not. This year's CPI is 0.7 of 1%. That number in real dollars probably figures about $10 to $15 a month, about $175 on a yearly basis. What, did I get that right or wrong?
You got it right.
Okay, I thought I did. When you looked at me, I thought I may have got it wrong. So the court needs to vote to whether accept this, decline this, or any part thereof. So to get us started, I'll make the motion that we accept the CPI increase of 0.7 of 1%.
Second.
Moved and seconded that magistrates on the fiscal court be awarded 0.7 of 1% salary increase. It's 7.25 tenths of 1%, actually. So anyway, this would be effective on what day are you planning to have this effective?
I have no idea.
No idea, all right. I'd say it'd be effective January 1st, wouldn't it? This is a retroactive thing. Can we do that? If that's what you want. Right. I think that's what everybody else, the employees were given 2% raise on that particular
Well, this
day or
letter,
thereafter, a couple days later, January something, 5th, 7th.
Judge, the letter's dated January 27th. Maybe you should make it then.
Well, that's when the letter comes out, but I think we make this effective from the first of the year. That would be the appropriate thing, I think. I mean, we're not talking about a significant amount of money here, but it's just the what's allowed, you know. All right, moved and seconded that we make this effective January 1. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed.
We have to have a roll call on this, all right? Didn't realize that, but apparently this requires a roll call vote. Sheila?
First.
Judge?
Does the finance committee recommend this? Did it pass out of the finance committee?
We did discuss it, they were gonna present it today. We had no recommendation of the finance committee. We didn't feel like that it was enough or important enough that address it with much need, so we just figured we'd bring it up and get the feel of the court, and everybody can either vote up or down.
Magistrate Sparks, did you have a question?
I just like to say I'd love if we showed solidarity with all of our taxpayers that didn't get a pay increase this year. I'd like to vote against it.
You'll have an opportunity to do so in just a minute.
Thanks, sir. Why did I know you were going to say that?
Okay. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Likens,
Yes.
Magistrate Tice,
Yes?
Magistrate Leslie, Magistrate Greenwell,
Yes.
Magistrate Sparks,
No.
Magistrate Eldridge,
Yes.
Magistrate Dye,
Yes.
and Judge.
Yes. Motion passes 6-2. Thank you. Next item on the agenda here is the erosion control bond release, and that would be Magistrate Vestuber. Go ahead.
I'd like to make note that I handed out the road rating books for this season we just completed, grading every road in the county and scoring it for its condition. I need to take a look at that. I hate to make too much out of the numbers, but let's say if you look at a road and it ranks over 80%, it is unlikely to be paved in the next 2-3 years. I'll give you a ballpark. And we are currently working on our list of what we think needs to be paved this year, and we'll be presenting that at a later date.
Judge, I have a question for her.
Yes.
Since, I know you may or may not have time to do this, but if you look, and I haven't had time, but is the number of roads or mileage of roads that are falling below the cutoff number, is it staying pretty static, or is it beginning to get larger, smaller?
You know, I really haven't delineated that, but that would be interesting to know.
In other words, if we're showing a trend, then that's something that, future courts are going to have to address because, we're going to run into a problem. If it's going the other way, well, that's a good thing. So,
No, not really. A road should be overlaid roughly every 20 years. It's the life expectancy of a road. The rate we're doing like 30, it would take 35 years for it to come back up again.
okay, just a question. Thank you.
Judge,
Magistrate Leslie.
I can address that. On a whole, the roads in the county have improved since we've gone to the road management system, where we've been taking the worst roads that are in the county and paving those, and we're being able to pave more roads now than we have in the past because we're not having as many dig outs. And so the amount of roads that we've been able to pave is initially almost doubled. So we went from about 9 miles up to about 18 miles.
All right, proceed.
Okay, for no reason that I understand, we just have quite a few bond releases today. The first one is for High Grove Section 2, which is just the performance bond, not the erosion control, which remains in place. That performance bond is for $21,900, and it would also include the acceptance of High Grove Lane and Windsor Way into the county road system.
Okay, is that, whose district is that in, please? Magistrate Sparks, is that
I
your
believe
district?
that's, no,
Logston's?
it could be. I didn't
All right, I'll
think
make
so.
that motion,
yeah.
Judge.
All right.
I'll second the motion.
All right, moved and seconded that the performance bond for High Grove subdivision, we have bond of $21,900 be released. Discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So moved.
The next one is for Morgan Place subdivision. The performance bonds have been released in the past. We're looking at releasing the erosion control bond for Section 2 in the amount of $16,000. The erosion control bond for Section 1 will remain in place temporarily for some very minor issues. Motion to have Section 2 erosion control bond for $16,000 released.
I'd like to make that motion, but if you read your paperwork here, that's not exactly what it says, but what she says is what we're doing.
All right, second.
Second.
Moved and seconded, the erosion control bond in the amount of $16,000 for Morgan Place subdivision. That would be Section 2, be released. Is there a discussion on this? How long has this bond been in place?
That subdivision has been going on for about 15 years. That bond's probably a good, every bit of 10, if not 12 years in place.
So we're sure at this point, we're not going to have any future glitches pop up.
Well, that is what we're holding a little bit money on Section 1 still because of some poor, the rain last week. We took a look at the subdivision and there were some very minor issues, but we wanted to get those polished up before we released the Section 1 bond.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of a problem there. It's just a couple of little things, and we felt like that if we held one, that we can go on and release the other. If they come in there and get things done this summer, then we'll probably release the other because it should have already been released by now, but there's just been some small issues that are reoccurring, and we'd just like to have that cleaned up before we release it.
All right, good idea. Don't like the money to disappear and then the problem pop up later.
So we're trying to protect it.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right,
Okay, the next subdivision we have is Hidden Falls subdivision. That includes both an erosion control and a performance bond that were grouped together under one bond for the amount of $113,300. And it includes the streets of Hidden Falls Drive and Spring Hollow Court.
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
moved and seconded that the standby letter of credit in the amount of $113,300 for Hidden Falls subdivision be released. And then the county is going to maintain these roads from here on out, Hidden Falls Drive and Spring Hollow Court.
Right.
I should,
Yes, Judge, and I also have a comment here. Myself and Engineer Stuber and Mr. Peak from the Drainage Enforcement, we spent a lot of time with this developer who bought this subdivision out of a court action, and he was left with multiple problems. But he did stay the course with us and worked everything out. I've met with him myself personally 2 or 3 times. Hidden Falls is a conservation subdivision, and my only comment is I think that the planning and development should rethink 20-foot wide roads. And I'm basing that on, not that I'm an engineer, which I'm not, but those roads do tend to create a bit of a problem in turning radiuses. And that's where most of the problem existed in this, and the things that he got left with by the original development. So I'd like to, no knock on this subdivision, but 20-foot wide roads is maybe not the most practical width in today's times. So, but other than that, I really appreciate Mr. Colin Osborne's time and effort to get this straight.
May I ask a question?
yes, sir, Mr. Carter.
Are these roads 20-foot wide roads?
I believe they're more of the 18.
Do they
I
meet-
didn't-
do they
I
meet
didn't
ca-
measure
Do they
'em.
meet county road standards? County road standards is not 18 feet.
Yeah. It says it
But
on
why,
here.
why are
20.
we can't
Oh,
accept them in the
do I have
county
it on
road
there?
system if they don't meet county road standards.
I'm sorry, JD is correct. They are 20, which is county standard, minimum county standard.
Mr. Carter, I didn't pace them off. I would say they're, just by looking at it, I spent a lot of time out there. I would say they're more than 18. Now, are they 20? I won't say, but my comments is a 20-foot comment period.
The county engineer has to certify to the fiscal court that they meet county road standards. If she's certifying they meet county road standards, then we can take them into the system. If she doesn't, we cannot.
Right. And they are long enough that they do have to be 20 foot, and they are.
I have a question.
All right, Magistrate Sparks.
Some of these have been around for quite a while. Does it have to meet county road standards today or when that subdivision was approved?
Today,
Thank you.
there was a time when the county had an opportunity to accept roads into the county road system that did not meet county road standards. Some of the roads that do not meet county road standards in Oldham County were not taken in during that period of time. And so they have to meet the county road standards as they are today for them to be taken into the county road system. We actually have gravel roads in the county road system,
We still do.
but they were taken in under that period of time where the county was allowed to do that.
That would not apply to this subdivision. This subdivision is not, it's not 10 years old. They're still building in it.
Right.
If we go out there and measure these roads, they're going to be 20 feet across, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Now we're down to the sanctuary subdivision. Let's talk about that a little bit here.
Sanctuary subdivision, you may remember, we recently released the bonds on that subdivision. The owner or developer at the time put them down as private roads. This was after our standard change that private roads had to be built to county standard. So they were built to county standard. I think the idea was possibly having a gated community. Now that the developers turned the subdivision over to the homeowners, all 10 of the homeowners have petitioned for the court to take their roads into the county road system. They are built to standard, so there would not be the process of the ordinance to expend the funds to pave it and bring it up to standard. They are at standard right now.
Is there a motion to do that, taken in?
So moved.
Second.
And then I had a question, Judge.
Magistrate Eldridge.
The roads were built up to county standards, but are they currently in good shape?
They're in excellent shape. They were just paved very recently, within the past 6 months. That's
Thank
what
you
I
very
can't
much.
remember, but they're in excellent shape.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. Our joy at not having to maintain or plow these roads is short-lived, so been left up to the homeowners.
Yeah. All right. Any other concerns about this or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next item has to do with Settlers Point Trail subdivision petition.
Settlers Point Trail is an older subdivision. At one point, the main road in their Settlers Point Trail was brought into the county road standard. They have a number of cul-de-sacs, which they are petitioning the court to investigate the option of bringing those into the county road system. The next step would be, if you accept the proposal, I would advertise for bids to pave those roads and bring them up to county standard, at which point we'd have a dollar figure to work with the residents on to see if they'd want to go further.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we have Beth look into accepting the roads of Settlers Point Trail subdivision for the purpose of bringing them into the county road system.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded that county engineer continue to work with the Settlers Point subdivision to determine if that if there's enough people there and what the cost will be to bring that into the county road system.
I think we have enough, 56 out of 93. That,
But they don't know how much you're going to have to pay yet, do
Yeah, they don't know what they're going to pay yet. They're just wanting to investigate at
That
this
number
point.
might melt if,
It says,
thank you, Judge.
yeah, Judge, Beth, is that all the roads in that subdivision? Are we going to finally have the whole subdivision, or is it just spots in it? The reason I ask is I'm concerned if we start doing like half of them and then half of them are sitting there, how are our plow guys going to recognize it? How's it going to?
No, in this case, it's an all or nothing.
Okay,
So they'll either all be in or it'll just be the current road.
thank you.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, thank you. Under personnel action here, we've got a couple of things to bring up, and that would be essentially, we've had 2 employees who have decided to move on for different reasons. I'm asking you to accept the resignation of Michael Hamilton, effective at the end of this month, 29th of April.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Also, we have a road department resignation of David Gelda. That would be effective tomorrow.
Judge, I'll make that motion. We accept his resignation.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Time now for the second public comment of today. Is there anybody here who would like to address the fiscal court at this point? Seeing no one, I'll close public comment. I would like to ask, do we have the County Treasurer, Melissa Horn, come back with the bid information regarding the special inspector for the detention center project?
Yeah, Keith Sharp, who is our architect, has been in contact with me. He said the Greenbaum proposal is acceptable and a good price, and he recommends the award to them.
All right.
Judge, I'd like to make that motion that, I'm sorry, did I speak over someone?
I just wanted to know what the amount was. I'm sorry.
35,900.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion here. I think Magistrate Likens made the motion, Magistrate Dye seconded it. Is that fair? Is that what I heard, or was it the other way around?
That's fine.
All right.
He can do that.
Okay, this would be with, for a special inspection and construction material testing for the detention center. This would be from Greenbaum and Associates, $35,900.
Where are they located at, Judge?
Greenbaum is at 994 Longfield Avenue, Louisville, Kentucky. Longfield, I believe, is right around the track, Churchill Down somewhere. Okay.
Judge, I have dealt with Milton Greenbaum before it was Greenbaum and Associates, and I know Sandy Greenbaum, an excellent engineer, knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to geotechnical work.
All right, that'd be great. Now, this is just our special, this is not the permanent test, just a special, right? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Time now to kind of wind up today's meeting. We'll see if any of the magistrates would like to say anything. I know Magistrate Logston is not with us today, and we hope he'll be back at the next meeting. Magistrate Dye?
Magistrate Logston is on vacation with his family, spring break with his wife and 2 girls. Well, we were talking about roads. I have 2 announcements regarding roads. The first one is the last ramp at the Crestwood exit 14, the northbound ramp from 329 to northbound 71 is going to be closed in April the 14th through the, I believe it's the, I've got the 18th written down, but that's not right. It's going to be closing on the 15th. It's a $755,000 redo of that ramp. Hopefully, this ramp will be done a little bit better than the last ramp that would we ran into a few problems with. Do you have the closing date on that? You have that? You don't have that? Okay. And the second item is the turn lane in Crestwood at the DQ from 22 to 329. All of the property has been bought. They're waiting, KDOT is waiting on the Department of Transportation is waiting on the utilities to move their lines and such, their pipelines and overhead lines and whatever. And they hope to start construction on that in spring of 17. So that's all the information I have.
Thank you. Magistrate Eldridge.
Thank you, Judge. Likewise, have an announcement. The KYTC advises motorists of the temporary closure of Kentucky 393 in Oldham County. The road will be closed this weekend between 71, there at exit 18, and Commerce Parkway near Buckner. Contract crews will be installing a sewer line underneath the roadways as part of the 393 widening project. The road will be closed from 8 p.m. on Friday, April 8th, until 5 a.m. on Monday, April 11th. Motorists should follow the signed detour via Kentucky 146 and Interstate 71. Kentucky 393 is being widened there from 2 lanes to 4, and turning lanes are being built at the intersection with Commerce Parkway. The date and duration of this work may be adjusted if inclement weather or other unforeseen delays occur. Dial 511, log on to 511.ky.gov, or Facebook KYTC District 5 for any changes in that. Thank you.
I think Magistrate Dye had something he...
Yes, I'd like to make a correction on that last one. I said the ramp, the northbound ramp, will close on April the 15th through the 28th. I just looked it up to give you the correct date. That's the 15th through the 28th. For those of you that utilize that ramp, please make a note of that, and I will mention it as we go along the next couple of meetings. Thank you.
Magistrate Sparks.
I have nothing, Judge.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. I just want everyone to be looking in the Oldham area for the listing of the surplus equipment that we're going to sell. Second thing, I contacted District 5 about the Bridge Hill project and why it's kind of come to a screeching halt, and they still have one pipeline to move, and they also are waiting for a asphalt plant to open so that they can finish paving the road. They made such great strides there and then kind of came to a halt, but it's going to get finished sooner or later. Third thing is congratulations to South Oldham boys basketball team. They won the first game of the state tournament. Were unfortunately defeated in the second game, but made a really good showing and had a lot of support from the parents and the faculty. So congratulations to them.
Magistrate Leslie.
Yes, last meeting, Barbara Roseman gave us information about the animal control, but please do not forget the Oldham County Humane Society. They came and made presentations several years ago with Barbara. And the Oldham County Humane Society runs strictly on donations, and they go to kill shelters and try to find the best cats and dogs that they can. They also go to the prison and work with the prisoners. And at Rotorua, they also have horses that work with the prisoners. So if you want to donate money to the Humane Society, their telephone number is 222-7537, and they desperately need any help they can get.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Tice.
I have nothing today. Thank you, Judge.
Magistrate Likens.
Thank you, Judge. I had 2 things that I just wanted to clear up, and one question is for Magistrate Greenwell. On the salt bids that we took, do we need to approve the supplier, even if we buy it 6 months from now? I know we don't need any right now, but do we just wait to approve that at a later court date if we buy salt this year?
We will approve that in a timely manner, and that will be within the next fiscal court meeting or 2. There was just no need to rush to it today because we have such an ample supply, and I would suppose that that price is good for a certain amount of time, and we will come in with them in that time period.
Okay, thank you. And then the other comment I wanted to make is what Magistrate Dye made about doing a trend analysis, I guess, on the roads that we get paved every year to kind of see, are we falling behind in the road paving? Are we gaining on it? And I forget how many miles of county roads we have. Do you know that, Steve? 310. And if we're paving X miles per year to get us in that 20-year or below trend would seem to be what we should be shooting towards. So I thought that was an excellent point by Magistrate Dye. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Carter, do you have anything you'd like to add for the good of the community here today?
Not today, except we didn't get sued this last 2 weeks, so
Well,
we're in good shape.
Thank you. 2 weeks more with it. Well, we don't really have. We've got a couple of, minor things running on, but, not much. I would like to thank everybody for being here today. And I'd like to also mention that I think I heard Facebook mentioned here. We have an Oldham County Facebook account. It says Oldham Fiscal Court. We've got 2,800 friends on there now. And we're encouraging people, if you haven't come to our Facebook account, to friend us so that we can send you our information. We try to keep it updated with things about the county. And Jay goes out and takes pictures of Oldham County every now and then, and we get a lot of people liking that. They really enjoy the pictures that are there. So, and we also are, doing things on our channel. So we hope to, that you'll tune in and catch our meetings and other things that we have, cooking shows and parent shows, psychology things, some history things. We try to have a variety of things, and it's all not commercial free. You won't see any commercials on our channel. So any traditional commercials, at least. It's all one big commercial for us, but we'd like to have you think we're doing a good job with it. So I appreciate everybody being here today, and welcome your comments from the community. Don't forget that I guess, is it May 1st or May 7th? Sometime we're going to have the burn ban go back into effect here, May 1st. So if you have wood, winter debris, things around that need to get sent up in smoke, do it now in the next couple of weeks, because once May hits, we won't have any more opportunity to do that until fall. So is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Sir, here it is.
Well, I have to